Hello guys, welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted to get back on the channel. Calum Turnbull, it's been a little bit of a while, but pleasure getting him back on. And he's now 5 wins with 2 defeats, with 1 win by KO. And he's fighting Brandon Scott a week tomorrow in Sheffield on the Terry Harper, Rhiannon Dixon undercard. And yes, how have you been, Calum?
Yeah, I've been absolutely great, mate. Absolutely great yourself.
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Yeah. Before we get into your upcoming fight,
Mm.
you fought you fought Tony Morton, didn't you? It was a few
Yeah.
weeks ago you fought Tony. What about 2 weeks ago now?
I 2 weeks ago. I
Yeah, and you know
Yeah,
you
no,
got
that was
you got back to winning
yeah, we got
ways.
back in with a win. Yeah. No, we got back to the winning ways. Again, I had again as always just another pull out. Supposed to be fighting some boy from India, with a decent winning record, but we couldn't get his visa sorted out in time. So again, we couldn't get anyone else, so of course I'd take on a heavier opponent at the time, so I'd spend the week putting the weight on.
And how good was it to get back to winning ways?
Yeah, no, it was good. Shake a bit of ring rust off. Obviously, it was a wee while that I had a bit out of the ring. I only really got back into training really 5 weeks prior to that fight with Tony. So yeah, no, it was good to get back in and take some rest and we'll get back to the level we were at.
Yeah, it's good to get the ball back rolling. And of course, this opportunity's come up. When did you get the call for this fight?
Literally on Tuesday about 5 o'clock.
Um, and did you just take it straight away? Did you ask who you was boxing? Did you know much about Brandon, or did you just say yes?
To be honest, all I knew is he's the boy that dresses up like Spider-Man. That's all I knew. Never watched him box. Never done anything. Again, for someone who does boxing, I don't actually watch a lot of boxing because I do it every day. I kind of need a break from it at times. But yeah, David called me up, and he said, "Look, you've been offered this opportunity. What's your thoughts?" So I went away, had a wee think about it, and yeah, we've decided to take it.
And is it at super bantam or featherweight?
Is that featherweight? So unfortunately, I'm jumping up 2 divisions.
And how you feeling going up to fighting at featherweight?
Again, it's not really phasing me as of yet. I mean, it's never really phased me getting in with big hitters, if I'm being honest. Like it says that throughout my whole career, I've always been a little guy. Even growing up as a kid, I was always having to jump in with the bigger 60, 70 kilo boys to spar with. Obviously, throughout my whole career, I've had fights. Okay, they're coming in heavy, you're coming in light. So I mean, it'll be interesting. Obviously, fighting someone at this level. Obviously, I've stepped up, and I'm looking to take on a real challenge. So I mean, it's quite hard to predict for this one. Obviously with the physical attributes. I mean, 2 weight divisions. Some people might call me crazy for taking it, fighting someone at Brandon's level. I'm just there to do a job.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to you as, you're going up in weight. I mean, no risk, no reward sort of thing, isn't it, really?
Exactly, mate. This opportunity was too big to turn down. Um, too big to turn down regarding the weight situation. Big platform. If I do the right stuff on that night, who knows what the doors could open for me. So that's all we've got to think about just now. It's just getting the performance right.
Yeah, I mean, on match, how do you feel? You've been you're boxing on a Matchroom show. That must be special.
Oh, absolutely. It's like it says, you can't from Inverness as well. Obviously, recently we just had young George fighting for the Commonwealth on TNT. That was a massive thing for Inverness. So I'm sort of going that route myself just now, getting onto Matchroom. No boxer from Inverness has been on Matchroom, and no boxers until George has been on TNT, so that's achievements themselves. So it'll be really something to take back to the Highlands.
Yeah, and you're both making Inverness proud. I mean, I was at George's fight. I thought he done very well against a
Yeah.
very top opponent as well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, again, I think George took that fight. Obviously, well, more than notice I've got, but even 6 weeks, 6 weeks, still not, a lot of time to train for such a competitive fight against that high operator. You know what I mean? So no, no, George did very well. And did Inverness proud. Safe to say.
Yeah, 100% he did, and he'll come again, won't he?
Well, that's it exactly. He's a young boy. He's young, he's hungry. So it'll be interesting to see how far he goes.
Yeah, and yeah, what? Yeah, so you mentioned all what? So have you haven't watched Brandon box now?
Nah, no point, in my opinion. You can sit back, you can watch your opponent's last performances, whatever. You'll find out what happens on the night. You know what I mean? There's no point reading too much into these things that they might do or they might predict or you might predict. Because when you get in the ring and you're overthinking this, just get in and focus on what's in front of you and get past it.
Yeah, and of course you did mention, he dresses up as Spider-Man and gives a bit of liveliness to the whole fight week and the press conference that he gets the crowd going. Um, so in the press conference, do you feel like he'll try and bring those antics, maybe try and get into your under your skin a little bit?
Try whatever he wants, there'll only be one fool in the room and it's the one that's dressed up. I'll just stay the good looking boy. Um, nah. It is, it's part of the job, innit? Fair play to him. Like he says, people may say stuff about him. For me, it takes guts to do that itself, as well as getting in the ring. Like I says, I respect any fighter. At the end of the day, we're all in it for the same job. We all take the same risks. And to get up and get dressed up and make a fool of yourself just for a bit of crack and that, fair play. So no, I'll be intrigued to see what he's dressed up this time. Might make my night.
Um, yeah, I mean, of course, he's 7-0 now. I believe he's got one KO like yourself.
Hmm.
Um, you know, but you're a big push. I'm not going to call you a step up. Well, you are a massive big step up for him, but you know what I mean. It's a big.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've been in these 10-round fights, even though they haven't gone your way. You've been into these back end. You've been into the trenches. Do you feel like that could play an advantage on the fight night?
I mean, I would say so. I mean, it's obviously a bit of experience. And I mean, speaking from experience, jumping into when you're stepping up in rounds, again, like I don't know who he's fought. I don't know what rounds he's done. So it's just a way of reading it on the night, to be honest. But I mean, like you says, I've went 10 rounds. I went 8 rounds in the second fight with Arbuckle. Obviously, got caught with that one body shot. Um, so yeah, no, obviously I've learned from that experience, and it's handy to go into the next fight with just even that 1% better knowledge, 1% better physical attribute, better skill. So yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Do you feel like this is going to be a harder fight than Arbuckle, or?
Again, it's hard to tell. Never really watched Brandon. Um, Arbuckle, it was a really hard fight. Two absolute battles, and we're both both in the standing, like both of them fights are in the standing at the Scottish Boxing Awards for fights of the year, you know. So I mean, I think me and Dylan brought a lot to that table, and we actually, in a way, you know, I think we've sort of inspired a bit of Scottish boxing, you know. You're now seeing these better 50-50 contests, you know, and I do feel like it was me and Dylan that played a big part to that, and two of them fights will both highly be remembered. But you know, it won't be long till I reckon we're seeing Dylan on the big stage like this, you know.
Hmm. And of course, it's a chance for you, you know, to show, get your name out there even more, you know, get more exposure on yourself. And of course, boxing on the zone is going to put your name out there.
Yeah, 100%. So, like it says, just make sure we do the right job, get the win, get out unscathed, you know, and then on to the next.
Tell people why you beat Brandon Scott.
Why I beat Ron Scott. At the end of the day, I've got nothing to lose. He's the one with the undefeated record. He's the one that's got Hearn behind his back. I'm just a boy from Inverness with nothing to lose. So I'm willing to put every breath against him. You know, I'm not leaving that ring until any stone's unturned, you know. So he's gonna have to watch out. Again,
Hmm.
he's the one that's got a lot more to lose.
And it makes for a good fight and a potential show stealer. There's lots of good fights on the card, but a fight I'm personally looking forward to. You know, not many. Some people, you know, just watch you know, the matchroom shows. They might not know much about you, so they'll be, you know, favoriting Brandon. But you know,
Mhm.
I know what you're capable of. I've seen, you know, box before. You know, I watch Small Hall and, you know, stuff like that. So I know what you're about. So I know more.
Mhm.
You know what I mean. But it's
Yeah. Well, that's it. At the end of the day, this is an absolute dream for me to get on a show like this, you know. And like you said, people, you know, but it's a right. No, I really think this is a chance to showcase what up. It's safe to say that I did. A lot of people did underestimate me. Uh, going up first, I know myself. A lot of people in Scotland ripped me off completely. Um, I,
I'm losing you a bit, mate.
a bit.
Pardon?
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, he's gone.
Yep. Right, good man.
We just lost connection, but we're back now. Yeah, wait, what were you saying? Oh yeah, you were talking about the Scottish people underestimating you.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, I do feel I've been underestimated in the past. First fight with Arbuckle definitely changed a lot of folks' minds. You know, 96 to 95, everyone predicted I'd be knocked out. You know, don't get me wrong, Dylan's a heavy hitter. Like, you know, I gave all that night as well. So I just look to do the same, to be honest, next Saturday. You know, just prove people wrong. People look at Brandon, promoted by Eddie Hearn. You know, for me, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. If you've got a big social media following, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, exactly that. Have you got a message to the people who are going to be watching your fight?
Oh, you better tuck in your seatbelts because it's gonna be a ride.
Mm-hmm. And before I let you go, do you want to thank anyone?
Absolutely. I've obviously with such a big opportunity, a few new sponsors come on board, who have helped me out with the short term that we've been given, obviously for the fight. I want to thank Matheson's Bathrooms, Smith Decorating, of course my original sponsors, PH Joiners, who have always been helping me out with my kit and whatnot. Um, who else? We've got Colson Davidson again, sorting out my travel expenses and all that for last year. Been a massive help, and yeah, just to all my family really for keeping my head sane.
And from me, thank you for your time, Callum, and good luck against Brandon Scott.
Absolute pleasure, mate. Later on, pal.
Bye, mate.